Are longer mortgage terms the key, the solution to fix Canada's payment shock challenges coming up in 2025? Let's get into that in this video. So many Canadians are facing payment shocks. So people that are going to be renewing this year, next year, 2026, they're all going to be facing payment shocks if they had locked in a 5-year fixed mortgage, let's say in 2020, 2021. Those people are coming up for renewal, and it's going to be a shock for them. This has led a lot of people to discuss possibilities of adopting the 15, 20, 25-year mortgages that we see in the United States, but seeing them in Canada. Canadian lenders theoretically offer the 15, 20, 25, or even 30-year mortgage terms, but market realities and consumer preferences pose challenges. So the Bank Act actually limits what banks can charge for prepayment penalties if a mortgage is broken, making longer term mortgages risky for lenders. When you think about it, it's actually better for the bank to have shorter terms, right? Like a 3-year term, 5-year term, 1-year term even. Because if someone, let's say, locks in low rates, like a lot of people in the United States were able to lock in 1-2% mortgage rates for 30 years, 30-year mortgages or 25-year mortgages. What a deal those people have, right? For their whole life. As long as they don't move and they don't get out of their house, they're paying 1% on the entire mortgage for the whole life, okay? So those people probably aren't going to be moving houses because they have such a good deal, right? So are we going to see those same things in Canada? We're going to see 30-year mortgages, 25-year mortgages. The Bank Act says no right now. 76% of outstanding mortgages in Canada are expected to come up for renewal by the end of 2026. We've been discussing this. You probably heard this on the news, potentially leading to a rise in mortgage delinquencies. So that will be a huge thing to keep our eye on, is mortgage delinquencies. Are people able to keep paying their mortgage through these increased payments that are going to happen? And it's going to be a shock for some people, and it's going to cause people to have to adapt to it. Assuming no change in interest rates, the median payment increase for all mortgage borrowers would be over 30%, while fixed payment variable rate holders or borrowers could see increases of over 60%, okay? These are huge increases, and it's going to have an effect. Now, interest rate fluctuations may make Canadians more willing to pay a premium for longer term mortgages to lock in rates. You know, even if, let's say, some people have to pay a little bit of a higher rate, if they're able to, let's say, secure a 20, 25, 30-year mortgage, for them not to, let's say, pay more than that over that long period of time, maybe some people will opt into that. Mortgage terms have been short here for so long that I don't think this is going to happen overnight. Maybe slowly things will change, but I don't think there's going to be any big changes right away. All right, so looking at current adoption, less than 5% of Canadian mortgage borrowers opt for longer term mortgages. Okay, that's 5 years, sometimes a little bit longer. So a lot of people like taking those 5-year terms, right? Either fixed or variable. But, you know, those 5-year mortgages are very popular. Canada's mortgage system has worked well historically, right? When you look at our banks, they've been very solid. We haven't seen any crazy financial crises like we saw in the United States in 2008. You know, Canadian banks have always had the reputation of being very solid, right? Same with Canadian lenders, who are also very, very safe like the Canadian banks. All the A lenders and all that kind of compete with the banks are all quite strong, and they all have that, I would say, not strict, but they all have very strong foundational values that the banks share. So they both share those values of not wanting to put too much risk on their books where they could collapse and stuff like that. They really want to be safe at all costs with all the borrowers they take on, all the money they're lending out. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Canada could bring in these 25, 30-year mortgages to Canada as opposed to just the normal 5-year fixed, 5-year variable, or the 3-year or the 2-year or the 1-year, or all these shorter terms? Do you think we could bring in these longer terms in the country? I think there's a possibility. I just don't think it'll happen right away. I think our banking system is different than the United States, where they want to limit risk, right? I think when you add those 30-year mortgages to the table, it increases risk for banks, right? And what we've seen in Canada is dominated by monopoly. There's not a lot of competition in the country, unfortunately, in my opinion. I think it's a bad thing. I think we need more competition. We need people challenging banks. We need people challenging, and other companies challenging telecommunications, all these kind of bloated monopolies in the country, right? That kind of control everything, and no one can really come in and make them compete, right? Because what happens is a lot of cases, these bigger lenders, these bigger banks will just buy up a smaller company that's kind of competing with them. I think National Bank had just bought a bank recently. I just saw an article the other day. So a lot of bigger banks, these top 5 banks, they just buy out the competition, right? If someone comes in with a very competitive product, they'll just buy them up. And then the government kind of just looks the other way, or they're supposed to be stopping that, right? But they kind of allow these big companies, these big monopolies to keep operating. And I think it's coming to affect Canadians. It's actually to our detriment. It works against us to not have good competition in our economy. We pay the highest amount of fees for stuff like telecommunications because no one competes with Bell, Rogers, TELUS. I think there's only 3 now, right? I don't even know if I was still around. I think Rogers bought them. But the fact that these things happen in Canada, it's bad for us Canadians. It affects us negatively. We need more competition. I think we need longer mortgage terms. I think it'd be good. I just don't think it's going to happen in the near term. In the future, though, who knows? We could look back and be like, it happened, right? And that's fantastic. I think we do need to see more of that American competition in Canada. I think it'll be good for Canada. What do you guys think? If you have any questions about this, or you want to run numbers for your situation, if you're looking at financing a property, if you want to see what you can qualify for, I'll leave all my information down below. And of course, please like and subscribe. If you guys do that, it helps me push this content to other people that might be interested in this type of information. And until next time, take care, guys.